Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We've had a few days off, but these lessons and these topics are so profound and so experience shifting that there's just been so much to so much has been orbiting our minds, consciousness, our experience here. So, just want to give everyone a welcome back. I hope everyone's been well. Um, we get through the summer here. We're about what, 2/3 of the way through, and still a lot to do. So let's just dive right in. The topic, the title of today's video is Leaving the Road of Self-Destruction, Choosing Life and Accelerating Redemption. It's no mystery. It's not a novel concept that there are mechanisms by which we can um, improve ourselves, right? But those things are not; those things are short term. Okay, they're not for long term, growth and for actualization and for development of the self. And so, something that I've really come to understand, although it's a process, is that um, you know there's biological needs in terms of what body needs in order to function at its regular level, um, but then anything other than that needs to be relied on very cautiously, um, because if we rely on these things, if we say it's because of this thing or that thing that I'm successful, I'm able to perform well in class or at work or in the gym or whatever it is that whatever arena we're trying to perform well in, um it becomes like a god. It becomes like an idol. It's like, no, this thing right here, this is what gives me my ability to succeed. It's not my diligent work, it's not my good work ethic, it's not my consistency, it's not my sacrifice of it's no, it's this thing right here. This thing is the all um, powerful, all capable thing that gives me exactly what I need in order to live a happy life. And that right there is idol worship. It doesn't have to be a statue of like some thing. It's associating or attributing power to something, or some kind of like um, is just not it. Now that's different than just biological needs, right? God made our body, and He made it so that we need certain levels of things in order to, just be, just living at a efficient level. And if we're deficient in things, then on a biological level, that is something that just needs to be looked into. And with today's modern medicine, hopefully as more studies come out, more people are talking about these things and how they just, these minor tweaks improve. Because I generally want to see other people just feeling well and doing well and doing great. If it's something that's worked for me and I've seen the benefits of it, I want other people to also be doing well. So um, that's just what it is. So no idol worship. We're done with idol worshiping, and we're going to focus on figuring and implementing things that we understand are just minor tweaks in terms of biology, in terms of mindset, in terms of work to achieve certain things, and not rely on false gods. So with that, let's jump right in. There's a road that many walk without fully realizing it. A road of self-destruction. It can look like addiction, chronic self-sabotage, despair, bitterness, or the quiet erosion of one's own dignity and potential. Yet the Torah and Hasidic tradition teach that no one is permanently bound to that road. At any moment, a person can turn around. And that turning is not only personal healing, it is a powerful contribution to the redemption of the world. We're all stakeholders in this world, and we all have power and energy that, right? So today we explore the principles, power, and effect of abandoning the road of self destruction and why this choice is so important for bringing greater light and redemption. This teaching is universal for every person who has ever felt trapped in patterns that diminish life and who longs to walk a different path. Rooted in the eternal Torah and illuminated by the compassionate wisdom of Hasidic masters, we will discover that leaving self destruction behind is one of the most redemptive acts a human soul can perform. We create images of ourselves, create these notions of what gives us worth, what gives us value. Maybe it's attention from others, maybe it's money, maybe it's prestigious jobs, maybe it's uh, popularity, whatever it is, right? And if those things are not rooted in, it's good to have a good job. It's good to earn well. It's good to have lots of friends. It's good, but if these things are coming from an unhealthy, again, it comes back to idol worship. If I have this one thing here, this will give me, um, this will make me what exactly? What will it make you? Um, so right, I'll just like throw these out here. Like we can think about them, we can brainstorm, and then maybe throughout the course of these, next couple of months or whatever, we'll come back and see if we can together come to some realization as a klal. Okay. The Torah places the choice between life and destruction at the very center of human existence. In Deuteronomy, Moses declares, I have set before you life and death, blessing and curse. Choose life so that you and your descendants may live. Self destruction is not merely a personal failing in the Torah's eyes, it is a turning away from the path of life that God desires for every person. Yet the Torah is equally clear that return is always possible. King David fell into serious wrongdoing, yet through sincere repentance, he was restored and continued to serve as a model of heartfelt return. The entire people of Israel repeatedly strayed and were invited back. The Torah does not romanticize the pain of destructive paths, nor does it pretend that leaving them is easy. And let's just be clear here. My script here might say, "And the entire people of Israel will be released straight." We have to understand that the story of the Jewish people through the Torah is a microcosm of the macrocosm. Everything that they went through sets a blueprint for all of humanity. The Torah does not romanticize the pain of destructive paths, nor does it pretend that leaving them is easy, but it insists that the door of return remains open. Every step away from self destruction is a step toward the life God intends, a life of dignity, purpose, and connection. And you know how I know what I'm saying is true? Is because you who's listening, right? Whatever that habit or whatever that desire, whatever that thing is that, maybe we're worshiping because, right? If you know that if you turned away from it and turned to a more holistic avenue, in terms of, right, that your life would alter, right? So what I'm saying is true. It's not just for the Jewish people, it's for all of humanity. This is a human experience, right? It's the human experience being, uh, living within this like dark curtain, the cave, right? And us all together coming out and being exposed to that light, the light of the divine source. This choice is not only about personal survival, it is about aligning oneself with the divine will for human flourishing. Hasidic masters saw the abandonment of self-destructive paths as one of the highest forms of spiritual service. The Baal Shem Tov taught that when a person turns away from a path that diminishes the soul, they elevate not only themselves but the holy sparks that were trapped in that darkness. In Hasidic thought, self-destruction often represents a deep concealment of the divine spark within. The very act of choosing life, or of walking away from what harms the body, the mind, or the spirit, releases that spark and allows it to shine again. The Alter Rebbe emphasized that repentance reaches the highest levels of the soul, even beyond that place of pure righteousness. When we give up whatever it is that our false god is, and say this, this thing right here is not it, and we go through that difficult path back, giving up part of that ego, letting that ego crack, that self image crack a little bit, and letting in some light, right? Letting God in, and kind of becoming nullified to whatever degree, right, to His will. That reaches the deepest part of who we are. The Alter a person who has walked a destructive road and then turns around can access a unique light that comes only through the process of return. Rabbi Nachman of Breslev, who spoke with profound compassion about human struggle, taught that no matter how far a person has fallen, the road back is always available. Despair itself is a form of self-destruction, and refusing to give in to it is already a victory. In this way, abandoning the road of self-destruction becomes a personal redemption that contributes to the large redemption of the world. Every soul that chooses life adds light to the collective process of repair. The principles and power of abandoning self-destruction carry deep spiritual significance for every soul. It restores the divine image within. Choosing life reaffirms the sacred worth of the self as a bearer of God's image. It creates new spiritual vessels. The strength gained through turning away from destruction expands the soul's capacity to hold light and blessing. It elevates trapped sparks. The energy once bound in harmful patterns is released and transformed into fuel for growth and goodness. Some of the stuff literally act as barriers. They're like they consume time, they consume energy, they consume your mental space, and it's true. I mean, I'm very grateful for the process I've been presented, because no one can do it for you. You have to choose to do it, but you understand that it's just a better way. It strengthens hope for others. One person's sincere return becomes a living testimony that change is possible. It accelerates collective redemption. Personal healing is never only personal, it contributes to the healing of families, communities, and the world. How can we practice this in real life? Name the road honestly. Acknowledge without harsh self-judgment the patterns that diminish life. Choose one concrete turn. Identify a single manageable step away from destruction and take it today. Seek support. Isolation feeds self-destruction. Reach toward people, wisdom, and resources that strengthen life. Practice daily return. Repentance is not a one-time event. Return again and again with patience and compassion, right? It takes time to develop new habits, to develop new pathways. So it's not. It takes one moment to have the desire, but we have to take that desire and kind of like translate it into um, the physical. And the physical doesn't require the mental awareness or that motivation. It just requires that physical movement, that implementation. Don't think you have to. I mean, I'm talking to myself, but you don't have to have that. You just do it. It doesn't have to be like a mental. You don't have to have like all mental alignment necessarily. Really, to create a new pattern, there's not going to be alignment because the mental and emotional being is rooted in the old habits. So the only way to start the new habit is it's going to be a flicker, like a spark, a mental, like desire for it, an emotional kind of feeling that yes, this is right, this is good for me, and then that you don't necessarily wake up with those two things aligned in the morning. So the way to keep that ember going is by moving on physical. Anchor in higher purpose. Remember that choosing life is not only for yourself, it is a contribution to the world's life.
Abandoning the road of self-destruction is one of the most powerful ways of the human soul can participate in redemption. Every turn toward life, no matter how small or late, releases light that blesses both the individual and the world. This week, identify one pattern that diminishes life. Take one sincere step away from it and toward greater dignity, health, or connection. Trust that this choice is seen and valued in heaven. If this message spoke to your heart, share in the comments. What step toward life are you ready to take? Or how has turning from a destructive path changed you? Like if these words brought hope and strength to your soul, subscribe for more explorations of Torah and Hasidic wisdom, made alive for our time, and turn on notifications. May you find the courage to leave every road that diminishes life. May your turning become a source of light and redemption and a inspiration for those around you. And until next time, choose life, walk forward, and let your return help heal the world. Everyone, be healthy, be happy, be blessed. Have a great rest of the weekend, and wishing you greatness this upcoming week. And what else? What was the topic here? Um, there really is enough to go around. That's number one. There's enough goodness and blessings and just happiness. One person's happiness does not diminish another's. That's number one. And in fact, when we are happy for other people, it is a amplifier of our own happiness. Um, really are very much interconnected. As much as we live in this dog eat dog kind of reality, that's starting to shift. And you know, we should just be aware of that God didn't make us here to like limit how much we can how much we ourselves can go and develop. It's not one person's development doesn't um limit others. So everyone have a good week. Wishing you the best. Thanks so much.